Hey guys, Nate Fancher here, and I had the privilege the other day to Skype with a friend of mine named Shannon Lewis. He sings with a group called St. Louis, and their latest single, Your Will, is out on iTunes, and we're going to jump right into the conversation. Enjoy. So you've got your song, Your Will, and you're passionate about recording original music and not waiting on a label to get behind you, which I think is brilliant. And writing songs as you lead worship, and you mentioned writing songs for even a small group in your church. And talk a little bit about that song, Your Will, and how that song came about.
Well, partially how that song happened was another song. I had written Your Mighty Hand, and it came out of me co-writing a song with a friend from Atlanta. And when I had written Your Mighty Hand, it was one of those moments where I led the song in front of some people and I saw the response. And for the first time I went, this song has got something special and I'm afraid to even mess this up. So I didn't want to record it myself. So I did a Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, cool.
Money to record 2 songs with this professional big name producer out of Atlanta. And so after Your Mighty Hand did so well, I had to decide on what the second song was going to be. And during that time, I just was doing lots of co-writing bits and pieces with other worship leaders around the country. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to not waste my song on just, I don't, it's not even a waste, but I can only do so much. The scripture talks a lot about a chord of 3. It talks about where 2 or more are present, I will be with you. There's a lot to be said for when you bring in other people with a different perspective and stuff. It's strengthening.
Sure, yeah.
Something more universal. Well, so I started doing a lot of songwriting and expanded my horizons to not just people locally, folks that were all over the place. And I had been talking to my friend Gary Durbin for a while about doing a co-write with him. And at the time he lived in Florida. He's now out in Colorado. And he's written a lot of great songs. And he and I write very differently. And I like what he does, but I knew that if we worked together on a song, it could be hard, but good. It would stretch us both. And one day he just emailed me a scrap of something. He said, I started the song a couple years ago and I'm stumped. I don't know that I like the chorus at all. I like some of what I got in the verses. Kind of have at it. So he sent me this. As soon as I heard what he had, ideas just flooding in. I loved the message of what he was talking about. Those first 2 lines in the song, I'm leaving my ambitions, I'm giving up my dreams, are just subtle variations on what he originally started with. And it was the kind of words that I was like, man, this would be really hard to sing. But those are the best songs, ones that stretch you to actually, I'm almost afraid to let these words come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It's the kind of prayer that you're almost afraid that God might answer for you. And, I literally tore his song apart and put it back together again and then emailed it back to him. Well, it was sort of a blessing because it could have just ended there and him going, oh, I like it. But what happened is he had gotten more attached to his original version because he hadn't listened to it for a long time. When he pulled it out and sent it to me, he then went back and started listening to it and doing some writing himself. And so when he heard my version, he actually, I don't know, man. Now I'm kind of over the last few weeks, I've gotten attached. I'm like, well, I think we've got some potential here. I've got an idea on how to work this. How about I pull in another songwriter, everything that we've done so far to him, and let him then rework parts of it that he thinks are the best and keep the different pieces. So I sent it to McKendry. He's actually my brother-in-law, but at the time he was still he just quit Sonic Flood. And but he'd done some songwriting for Sonic Flood and Audio Adrenaline and some people like that. So he's a pro songwriter, and he's never been afraid to tell me if he doesn't like something. But I didn't even let him know whose parts were whose. And so the whole song kind of picked out all the things that he liked, and then he actually went, I like a lot of pieces, but your chorus is weak. And so he rewrote like over half of the chorus himself. And so then suddenly we had another co-writer, not just an arranger whose opinion we were getting, but another co-writer in the song. And I sent it back over to Gary, and we were both thinking, wow, this is really getting interesting at this point. suddenly it went from a co-write to like a 3-person co-write. And then in February, no, last October, Bobby Giles was down, and you see the cute little face over my shoulder.
Oh, sure do, yeah.
Bobby Giles was down, and he was over at our house, and I showed him what we had of the song, and he was like, "Man, I really like that. Do you need anything else?" And I was like, "Well, none of us are really happy with our second verses. If you got any ideas?" And he wrote one of the best second verses I've ever heard. It's my favorite part of the song. I just love singing verse 2 because it's so powerful. It's something that I might have been scared to write myself.
Yeah.
Because I thought, ooh, that's off-putting. and that's how the song came together. And so right then, we just finished a song that has roots in 4 states.
Yeah.
My brother, when he wrote it, was in Pennsylvania, and he shared it with his congregation of like, he was at that time at the 35th fastest growing church in the country. So there's like 3,000 people at this church, and he shared the song with them. And I think Gary shared it with his congregation, which is a nice sized group of people now in Colorado. And Bobby is with Sojourn in Louisville. And I know he spread it around to his worship teams. I don't know if they sang it there yet, but I hope they do. And I've shared it at several churches down here with my band. So it's like immediately upon finishing the song, it had wings. It was connected with a lot of different cultures and communities. It had it had roots all over the place. And for me, that was special. That it wasn't my song. It's not my song anymore. I tell people, like, right now, Your Will is my favorite song, and I don't feel like it's arrogant at all for me to say that, because the things that make the song great have almost nothing to do with me at all.
Mm-hmm.
A passenger in that train, and I was blessed to have gotten on at some point and to gotten back off. But
that's cool. Well, what's really cool about it too is that it's not a traditional example of a co-write.
Oh no, not at all.
So I mean, that's pretty interesting to me as a writer. I love that. So okay, keep going. I mean, because I know there's a part of the story that, yeah.
Well, what was I don't know how to put words to this one or not specifically, but right as the song was hitting iTunes, literally the day before it was scheduled to hit iTunes, and at that point you have no control over it. You release the song on the computer, and then you just wait for all the processing to take place. So we knew it was hitting iTunes on that Tuesday, and we get the announcement on on early Monday morning that one of our writers had lost their newborn son during delivery, and that chorus, I'm laying down my will, or the bridge, I'm sorry, I'm laying down my will, I choose you, I'm leaving everything behind, was like one of the things they were clinging to.
Yeah.
And when I got that message, I just looked at my wife and I was like, I want to be able to bless them during that time. We were pregnant as well, so it hit so close to home. It literally just knocked us off our feet. And so what we ended up doing is for the rest of the October, after that song was released, we just basically said all sales of this for this month are going to go to Bobby and Kristen to help out with any of their expenses that they have, hospital or otherwise. And we did October because the money for October comes in December, and we wanted to be able to send it to them before Christmas hit. It just felt right. And a flood of support came for them and for the song. It was neat to see how it connected us with some of the people in their circle. We made some new friends that were friends of theirs. And then some people that were in my wife and I's circle that didn't know them at all suddenly knew their story and wanted to be part of praying for them. So we were giving constant prayer updates and praise reports from them and about where they were going. And support, the groundswell support was so staggering that, I mean, I don't think it's any secret why the song went into the top 200 on iTunes. It was in a lot of ways just people wanting to really support Bobby and Kristen during this time.
Yeah.
that's kind of how it had its impact. It was just it's a weird story, but kind of cool to see so many people want to bless them.
Yeah, totally. And I know there's nothing harder than sometimes. I mean, it just takes a miracle to be able to say, "Not my will, but yours be done." So where can people find this song?
It's on iTunes. That's the only place it is right now. I am, God willing, we got 2 or 3 more songs. Basically, we came up with the idea of recording an EP called Morning Will Come. And all the songs tie into, they're all different corporate worship songs that tie into, you know, it's dark right now. Things aren't perfect. Things aren't always beautiful, but morning's around the corner. And when it's darkest, you know that the sun's about ready to rise. And they're songs of hope. That's what, you know, Your Mighty Hand is about, God being big enough and also loving us enough to be able to reach down and pull us out of the grime and the dirt. Your Will is trusting in God during the times that don't make any sense at all. We have a song on there called Join the Morning that's exactly about the fact that morning will come on the wings of his praise at the moments that you least expect it. And we're hoping to have it out in a form that's hard copy by next summer.
Awesome.
But God willing, that's it. It'll be done. Not mine.
So the two songs
are
currently on iTunes. All right. And how can they go? Where should they go if no one knows who you are and they're watching this? Where should they go?
We have a website, stlouismusic.com, and but it's not the most up to date right now. I might have to update it before this thing goes live.
Okay.
But otherwise, we're on iTunes under the band St. Louis, SAINTLEWIS, and it's sad because half the time we play places, and if they made any of their own posters, it's ST.LOUIS.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, it's sort of like the movie The Oneaters, The Wonders. Did you ever see that?
Oh, I didn't.
You haven't seen that one? Oh, come on, that's a great musician's movie. Anyone who's into music should see that one. Tom Hanks and
what's it called again?
That Thing You Do.
Oh, yes, I have seen that. That was a great movie.
Yeah, and they have the Wonders, but you know they're the Oneaters, and they end up changing it. Hey, man, I just want to say thank you for being with me today and having this conversation, and I'm super.
It's been too long anyway.
Yeah, I know, man. We catch up every now and then, but it's good to actually see you this time. We should definitely Skype again, and maybe we could even do a co-write over Skype.
I did that once, but it was weird. I'll admit it. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know it's not the perfect thing, but technology is awesome.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bless you, man.
Thanks. You too, buddy.
Shannon loves God. He loves his family. He loves his church, and he loves playing music and writing songs. I don't know about you, but I picked up on the fact that he's really passionate about what he does. As I was talking with him, you can just see his energy and see his love for what he's called to do. I think that's a great thing. And for creative people, we need to make sure that we're doing this because we love that God has called us to do it. And that just comes out when you talk to Shannon. Check out his website. That's stlouismusic.com. I've put that in the blog post if you're watching this at natefancher.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's also in the notes, the description below the video. And hope you have a Merry Christmas, and make sure you go to iTunes and get his latest single for a Christmas present or for yourself to enjoy this time of year, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm Nate. Later. Your